Hey guys, Drifter here. Welcome to PUBG In Depth. In today's episode, we're going to be reviewing the Mini-14 sniper rifle. And yes, even though it looks like a carbine, it functions like a carbine, it takes 5.56, it is technically classified as a sniper rifle and only takes sniper attachments. It's definitely going to be on the lower damage end of sniper rifles, dealing only 22 damage per shot to arms and legs, making it a 5 shot to kill if you're not hitting the body. If you are hitting the body, however, it'll deal 44 damage to a level 0 target, taking 3 shots to kill. It's going to be 4 shots to kill to the chest regardless if they have level 1 or 2 armor, and it'll go up to 6 shots to kill at level 3 armor. Kind of funny scaling there because the damage numbers are just barely on the wrong end of being shots to kill. I do want to point out at level 3 it's like 19 point something and some change, so they only have to have taken a sliver of damage to die in 5 shots. If you're getting shots to the head, the gun is much nicer, killing in 1 shot to the head if they don't have a helmet, killing in 2 shots to the head with a level 1 or 2 helmet similar to the armor, and finally at level 3 taking 3 shots to the head, but only ever so very slightly. Again, that's 49 point and some decimal change, so if they've taken just a sliver of damage, you will 2-shot headshot somebody instead of 3 if they've got that level 3 helmet. So all of this considered, it looks kind of like a beefy assault rifle. It actually deals a little bit less damage than the AK or Groza, and the Mini-14 is typically going to be 4 shots to kill to the body or 2 headshots to kill. If they have really high level armor or you're spamming arms and legs, it could be 5+ shots, but my experience has been that 4 shots is going to put people to bed with the Mini-14. Unfortunately, the rate of fire is somewhat low at 600 rounds per minute. This is the lowest of all semi-auto sniper rifles, lower than the Mark 14, lower than the SKS, and actually lower than the VSS. It's lower than most of the assault rifles too, so even though it's right about what most people's comfortable semi-auto clicking speed is, it's not theoretically super fast. And speaking of theoretical, the Mini-14 has a theoretically low DPS, which would mean that it has a slow time to kill. So in theory, other faster firing weapons like an M416 or an Uzi would kill people faster. But functionally it shreds people, because while the Mini-14 may lack in damage compared to other sniper rifles, it has some very good attributes otherwise. One of them is the recoil. Now, I looked at the stats of this that was data mined, and the stats say that the recoil accuracy is overall quite low. It's very comparable to the SKS and Mark 14 EBR. However, my experience with the gun says just the opposite. I don't want to say it's a super low, it's a laser, it's a no recoil, because it definitely does kick, and it definitely will punish you if you're full on spamming it. If you are just going at that max 600 RPM, just clicking as fast as you can with no break, no pause whatsoever, it's not so great. However, my experience is that given the rate of fire and the amount of recoil it has, it doesn't kick very much. It's easy for you to keep people in your field of vision. You're very rarely going to be shooting over their heads. Functionally speaking, it is a very good and satisfactory feeling weapon, and even if the recoil is theoretically low, its predictability is very high, so it's easy to control. But let's move on to what really makes this gun tick, what makes it so satisfying to use, and that's its muzzle velocity. The Mini-14 bullet travel speed is 990 meters per second, which is the fastest in the entire game, and faster is better here. It's even better than the AWM. The AWM only has 910 meters per second, so it's got a gain of almost 10% over that, which means the bullets travel to your target faster than any other weapon, and that means that there's less bullet drop, less target leading, less any sort of shenanigans that keep you from not treating this like a hit scan. That also means that since you're not like leading your targets a whole lot, you're not like calculating drops or doing crazy things, kind of the opposite of the VSS, that the Mini-14 is the easiest gun in the entire game to use, in my opinion. Now, of course, it's not super easy to take on submachine gun users in point-blank range, but a lot of the gunfights in PUBG are ranged gunfights. You need to pick off moving targets, you need to get headshots on somebody that's sitting still behind a tree, and personally, I struggle leading targets at range. I struggle with bullet drop. I especially struggle if I have to lead and deal with some capacity, some amount of bullet drop. I don't use the zeroing as much as I should because I don't like forgetting it and having it wrong when I really need it to be back at 0. But the Mini-14, you don't have to fool with the zeroing a whole lot. You don't have to lead your shots a whole lot. You don't have to do that much with it, which makes it incredibly easy to use and incredibly satisfying to use. It's not a difficult gun to master whatsoever, and it's incredibly accurate. We're going to go hit you with a few quick Mini-14 Mini-14 fun facts, the flinch is similar to that of most rifles. It's a little bit less than other sniper rifles, and that's flinch on the enemies. So when you hit somebody with the Mini-14, they're going to feel like they've been hit by a rifle instead of feeling like they've been hit by a sniper rifle, so your enemies may be a little bit more bold than expected. However, the Mini-14 is super loud. It is an incredibly loud weapon, and it has a very distinct sound. When you're popping this gun off, every single person is going to know your location, and they're going to know what gun you have, and it's a popular gun, and they're probably going to want it. So I strongly recommend running a suppressor if you can find one. I know they're rare, or a flash hider so that people can't see you. The muzzle flash is quite bright, and it is easy to spot people at a distance or in the fog. Compensator is very nice too. It cuts the recoil, lets you spam it a lot more, but I strongly recommend either of these stealth attachments. Reload time is a little bit on the slow side at 3.6 seconds. That's going to be the slowest of all the semi-auto sniper rifles, and the default magazine size is 20, which is quite good, but since you're going to be treating this like an assault rifle a lot, I strongly recommend finding some kind of magazine attachment, extended mag, quick draw mag. Some kind of mag attachment is going to make your life much easier. You can put any scope on the Mini-14. I strongly prefer an 8x or a 4x, though I always have a red dot with me just in case I need to get all up close and personal. This is one of few guns in the game that can kind of do it all. So I would say stick with 4x most of the time so you can use it at range or up close without fooling with it, but it's fantastic with an 8x because you can treat it like a better SKS or a better M16, and it's not bad at close range. If you really just want to put a red dot sight on it and go popping people in the chest and you've got a good trigger finger and you don't choke under pressure and you can hit those shots, you can definitely kill people with the Mini-14. And the review's been pretty glowing so far. I've had a lot of good things to say about it. So my recommendation is, of course, going to be that the Mini-14 is a fantastic weapon for most situations. It's easily one of the best weapons in PlayerUnknown'S Battlegrounds. It's great at long range, it's functional at close range. The only thing it really doesn't do is like take down shotgun users at point blank, or somebody bum rushing you with a Vector or Tommy gun or something like that. But even in those close range situations where it's not super advantageous, it is still very usable, and that usability carries over to long range too, where it outclasses the M16A4, it outclasses the Mark 14 EBR, definitely the SKS and VSS. It's better than any of those weapons at ranged combat, and I think it's fantastic and that everybody should pick it up and use it. I pretty much always pick it up, unless I'm doing something for in-depth, something for the stream, or I've got an assault rifle suppressor. I'd pick up this gun all the time. It's one of my favorites in the game. Guys, that's all for this review. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something useful. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out. For all the best tips, information, and strategies, check out the Ultimate Utility Companion app for PlayerUnknown'S Battlegrounds. Links available in the description for both iOS and Android.